All right. And I'll do an AI summary. Well, good evening, beautiful queens. Good evening, and welcome to our second live session of the Ancestors Way. We are in finishing up our last week of the first phase of authentic power. Uh, we're going to do an introduction briefly, but I just want to say just thank you all again for just deciding to do this, being the first cohort of this program for me. It's my life's work put together into a program. Blue, chill, no, sorry. um, and so I'm just appreciative of you all deciding to do this and take the chance. As a result of this, I am, once I finish, put all the modules together, I'm going to publish and it's going to be a workbook, and I will gift you all that so that you have a hard copy of that so that you can work. And it has all the stuff. I didn't expect you to finish everything or do everything. Uh, but if you have done anything, I would definitely like to hear how is it going. If you see anything that can be improved and make better, please let me know. Okay, so welcome
Okay.
again to Becoming Self-True, the Ancestors Way, a liberation journey for our sisters of brilliance, queen of brilliance. We have Adrian coming on. Coming on. So we're gonna do a brief intro again since we have more people than we have. We have Carol coming on. All right, so only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, Adrian, Carol.
Hey,
So
how
only
are you? How's everybody?
Good, how are you?
good,
Happy
good.
Wednesday. Happy
Happy
Wednesday.
Wednesday, the hump day of the week. Right. So let's see here. I'm just going
Hello.
to. Hey,
Hello.
Carol, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Da-da-da-da. Let's see here. I'm going to share screen for a bit and then we'll probably come out of it and probably be going in and out of it. Um, oh, because last time, let me get out of that. I didn't do it in the way that you all could see the whole screen. So come out of that. Mm. You all can see that?
Yep.
Cool. To get out of this one. I guess. Okay, so welcome again. And this is Module 3, Integration and Authority. This is going to help us go into the second phase of personal governance. This week, I'll be sending you Module 3 that will also continue this process. Um, Look at it at your own pace. Like I said earlier, if any of the assignments that you've done within or activities you do within the modules, if you notice that I can improve it in any way, please let me know. Okay, and we'll do a brief intro once again. So we gather in the presence of our ancestors and the presence of God, the presence of all that is good and worthy of us being here together. We gather in the presence of women, the, the significance of women and the value of women have had throughout human history. Whether you're acknowledged for it or not, you have kept families and communities together. And I am here to pay homage to you for your work that a lot of times goes unnoticed, especially in a male-dominated or in male-dominated environments, whether that be family, whether it be religion, whether that be society, culture. You have been given a disservice, and that has a lot to do with who we are as men, and we owe you a debt that we cannot repay. So one of my goals is as an act of repaying, in a sense, is targeting this program initially for you and using the information I get to help me to do it for men, and young adults, and especially and adolescents as well. All right. So let's do a brief intro. Let's just state your name, what state you in, and if you want to say what you do for a living, and we'll continue as we move. Who wants to get started?
I'll go.
I'm Tracy Dotson.
All right.
I guess all
Everybody
all
can
at the same time. I'm Tracy Dotson. I live in Lithonia, Georgia, and I am a real estate agent.
Hey, Tracy.
Hello.
I'm Joan Davis. I stay in Decatur, Georgia. And I work for Emory Healthcare, Senior Administrative Assistant.
Thank you, Joan.
I'm Adrienne, nurse practitioner. I live in Conyers as of right now.
Right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cairo. I live in Mapleton, Georgia, and I am an educator.
Thank you, Caro.
Hi, everyone. My name is Betsy. I live in North Carolina, and I am an early intervention agency and all the good things. So just working with our babies.
And recently had one herself.
Yes, that
Wow.
too.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My miracle baby.
Oh,
Yes.
Boy
yes.
or girl?
All
Little boy. Yes, born at 24 weeks. So he was a
oh
miracle.
Oh,
wow.
that's yes.
That's
Mhm.
good.
Yep. So
right.
Mhm.
Keontae and Jennifer.
Jennifer Case. I live in Sewanee, Georgia.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Keontae Keith. I live in East Point, Georgia, and I'm a public relations communication strategist.
Good. Betsy, did you say where you live?
yes, sir. In High Point, North Carolina. So not too far from you guys.
And hi, Keontae. It's good to have you all here. We Shalita was here last time. She's not here. She's in Maryland. And Jamie, she is in Chicago. She's not here as well. But we are going to move. Thank you all once again. I pray that you really receive what I'm hoping that you can get from this process and this program. So we have 4 phases in this program. The first, and each phase is 3 weeks. And the live sessions will be the first and the last week, the first and the third week of each phase. So that means next week we will be live again to start off I know all of you may not be able to make it because we plan for every other. But when I realized, oh my goodness, I don't want to I have a live session in the middle of a phase beginning. So I'm shifting it to doing that. So if you can make it, that would be great. If you can't, that's okay. All right, but we'll have the recording and I'll start sending off the recording to each of you once it's finished, and I save it as a file, and I can send that to you. Okay. The second phase, the authentic phase, is about you being reminded of who you are. If you've been with me, and all of you have, you know that I'm big on helping you to operate from your brilliance and your truth and the wonder of who you are. That no matter what you have gone through, what you have done, what has been done to you, nothing can destroy your true essence. And I believe that's because we were created out of the DNA of the divine, which cannot be destroyed, but it can be covered up. And the things that can cover it up could be what we may have unfortunately inherited from our family ancestry, our family life experiences, our own experiences, how we choose to cope and how we choose to perceive and cope with those experiences. In addition to that, what is also important is the way that we try to navigate navigate the world. And in order to help us to navigate the world, we have to put things in a certain order. And the way we do it is creating narratives or stories. Those narratives or stories are made up of assumptions and beliefs that we accept as true or as facts. And we know not everything we assume to be true or believe to be true is true. And unfortunately, some things we believe to be true can cover up our brilliance. And as we will be talking briefly about today, our perception of reality can be more damaging than the actual reality itself. And it's important that we hear that. In other things that can cover up that brilliance is energies or activities we involve ourselves in on a regular basis that are not healthy for us, such as people or places or just behaving in certain ways. All of that can cover up that brilliance. And instead of living out of the truth of who we are living out of what life circumstances say we are. And what family say, what culture say, what religion say, what, again, life circumstances say, how we have been conditioned, even from colonialism, says that this is what beauty is, this is what being a woman is, this is what being a man is, this is what, and we buy into a lot of that, which kind of goes against who God has called us to be. And so this program is to help you to come to this place of recognition. And especially in this first phase, the focus was that in spite of all of that, your brilliance cannot be destroyed, even though it can be covered up. That make sense? All right. Second phase is personal governance. I like this is going to be a powerful phase. This is a phase that is going to be used to help you to govern your life. The governance honors the authenticity of who you are, the brilliant wonder of who you are. So who sits in the seat of authority? Your brilliance must be the one sitting in the seat of authority, not your conditioning, not your trauma, not your life experiences, not your ego, not your mind, not your emotions, not anybody else. You are the author of your story, and not only the author of your story, you are the hero of your story. You should not make somebody else the hero or hero of your story. Nor should you try to be the hero of somebody else's story, not even your kids. You have to teach them how to be the hero and heroes of their stories. Okay, the personal governance is the one that where we will set boundaries. So you will know what being at home with yourself is. We'll talk about that here this evening, and how to not only establish boundaries but enforce them. One of the first things that we are going to do is develop a personal constitution. If you know anybody, what's a constitution? What's the purpose of a constitution? Let me hear you. What's the purpose of a constitution?
Something to live by.
Something
Like
to live by.
A set of
Like what?
a set of, I wouldn't say, what I say, rules, or a set of ideas, rules.
Rules, ideas, good. Oh, that's good. Anybody else add to that? Constitution. When you hear constitution, what comes to mind?
It's kind of the laws, but for
You
you.
said
It's kind of the laws, but for you, by which you live.
laws by which you live. Yes, yes. And so you also have to be held accountable to your own laws for yourself. The laws isn't just for other people. The laws is primarily for you, and from there, how you engage with life. So each of you will, one of the main assignments that will for next week is going to give you an assessment where you will start developing your personal constitution. This will drive the rest of the program. The third one is flow and mastery and energy mastery. How you are going to show up in life. You are the one that's going to determine how you show up. Life can throw at you whatever it throws at you. You are the one that's responsible of how you're going to choose to respond to it. That's not always easy, right? Especially when we are holding on to expectations, we are holding on to beliefs, we are holding on to things. And doesn't mean that those beliefs or expectations are wrong, but we have no right to make somebody else follow them. But we have a responsibility. If they choose to not follow them and engage, and they want to engage with us, they have to know we're serious. That we have boundaries of engagement. With the sacred wonder of who you are, you must recognize that your feelings can sometimes override your boundaries, make you override your governance. Your conditioning can make you override your governance. Your ego, right? Your pain can sometimes make you override them. So the goal is, how do I manage my energy and walk with the integrity of who I am as a woman, who I am as this beautiful person. And one of the ways to help you manage that is recognizing the pain of the little girl in many of you who may not have gotten the proper guidance, the proper attention, affection, love that she needed. And how are you going to protect her? Right? It's crucial and critical when that. And the final phase is it is legacy, impact, and legacy. How are you choosing to walk this path and interact with others is important. Every interaction, you are saying you're leaving a mark in the history of that day. How did you show up for yourself? How did you show up for those you're responsible for? How did you show up for those people who didn't even like you? And sure enough, for them may not be what you offer them. It could be how you advocated for yourself, how you enforced your boundaries, right? We don't always recognize it, but us, when we enforce our boundaries, we hold somebody accountable. We hold people accountable to be true to at least us, and eventually to be true to themselves, right? That is not always easy if our attachment or our psychological identity is pleasing people, or we think that I'm a giver. So that's what I do. I just can't help it. I'm a giver. That's just me. Your giving must come through your offering to yourself first. The honor of loving and protecting and serving you and the God that you serve. You give from that. You don't give outside of that, or you don't give first and then go to that, right? You give from your giving of yourself. Does that make sense? Questions, thoughts? So I've spoken when I mentioned ancestors, and also early on in my religious upbringing, when we hear talks about ancestors, some of us are African. I even had an African guy who's Christian. So it's like, when you said ancestors, I was a little, what do you mean by that? So I was like, thank you for asking, instead of just having a negative thing in your head. And so for me, ancestors is more than sometimes the typical. It includes some of the stuff we hear, our ancestors, blood relations, people who've gone before us. But I believe truly when we look at ancestry, it's about reaching back. We look at the Sankofa symbol, about reaching back to gain, to move forward. And the ultimate reaching back is where it all began. And that's the divine. And that's within us. That God is the ultimate ancestor. All right? That God is the source of all wisdom, life, and authentic power. Right? The blueprint, the divine design within us all. Right? The source of all wisdom, the eternal presence, divine love, and sacred authority. So all ancestry must come through, or intermediaries must come through the essence of who God is. So even in a lot of African cultures, not everyone who has passed becomes an ancestor. If you have not lived a life worthy of yourself and the community, you are not looked at as someone that you can be called on for guidance, for support. So that it presses upon us the importance of living a life that is honorable. 5 dimensions of ancestral wisdom. So we have spiritual ancestors. Who wants to read? Who wants someone to read that? Let's go through that. Somebody read what spiritual ancestors is, please.
Spiritual ancestors are those aligned with divine will who offer guidance from the spiritual realm.
Very good. And biological, somebody else.
Genetic memory, cultural heritage, familial wisdom in our DNA.
Very good. Next.
Cultural and intellectual ancestors, wisdom keepers, thought leaders, community builders.
Very good. Next.
Natural intelligence ancestors, water, flow, trees, rootedness, fire, transformation, earth cycles.
Very good. So nature itself can be seen as an ancestor because they especially trees, the earth itself, but they hold a lot of knowledge and experiences that humanity has gone through. And also God expressed himself through them. So there ways we can come into our closeness with the divine through paying more attention through how nature flows. We can learn how to better live as family, as community, through how nature lives within an ecosystem. And then we have the 5th one.
Wisdom carries Sankofa, your own life experiences containing divine guidance. You are both recipient of ancestral wisdom and future ancestor for generations to come.
All right. So what you're doing here is not just for you. It's not even just for your kids. All right. It's not even, I also believe from a spiritual perspective, ancestry, if the word was given by God to your ancestors, to their offspring, and the time has come for that word to be activated. But yet the person who that word was for is not in alignment with how they should be living. But the time has come for that word to be activated. I believe someone who is living in alignment with how they're called to live, that word can take a detour because it needs to be activated when God said, and can fall onto somebody else that is not a blood relation. Right? That's my own thing. I've not heard that anywhere, but I believe in that. Truly believe that it's about the Lord. It's about what God says, not necessarily what man says. Right? And so it behooves us that even if you may not have kids, and God has given you a word or spoken a word, some offspring is going to benefit from that. So don't think, especially it's hard for women. I know it's hard for women, those of you who may not have kids and want kids, that you feel some part of you is lost in your fullness. I believe whatever gifting you have of mothering is in you to deposit in others. It may not be biological. And when we look at God, God isn't looking at biological as family. He's looking at spiritual as family. So I want you to keep that in mind and don't get stuck because you may or may not have or want kids that, some people might look at you kind of funny because you're a mother, you're a woman rather, you're supposed to want to have kids. So it's okay if you don't want to, right? But it doesn't mean the mothering spirit, if you were blessed with that within you, cannot be then transferred over to people who might need that mothering spirit, who may have had a biological mother, but because of where the biological mother was or is, they cannot offer that blessing to that child or children, but you can. So keep that in mind. Any thoughts about that? What are your thoughts about that? What I just said? Everybody? I'm gonna come out of this and go to a video. No thoughts? No worries. We shall move. Da, 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 da. Here's a video with Nelson Mandela giving a little presentation, something he said, especially at the end. And you know, if you all can see that. What's on the video for y'all? What's on the screen, I mean, for you?
Yes, it's some type of video.
Start to play, press the play button, yeah.
My very great pleasure to honor and introduce Mr. Nelson Mandela.
I am happy to be with you tonight at the first glorious World Sports Award. Sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It speaks to youth in a language they understand. Sport can create hope where once there was only despair. And it is absolutely essential for the leaders of the community and the world to create an atmosphere where those good men and women can show their maximum abilities in trying to resolve problems in a peaceful manner, but to be an effective agent for peace. You have to seek not only to change the community and the world. What is more difficult is to change yourself before you seek to change others. Thank you.
Yes. To seek to change yourself before you change others. Why has that been so hard for many of us? Why do you think that has been so challenging for many of us?
It's easy to see things in others than it is in yourself. It's harder to accept who you are.
Why is that?
Um,
And anybody could answer, it doesn't have to be you. But why do you think that is? Why is it harder to see even the brilliance in ourselves, but we can see it in others? We can see it in kids more easily than in adults a lot of times.
the limitations we put on ourselves, or how
Very
we
good.
were conditioned.
I like that. Love that. Yes. What else? Why is it hard for us to sometimes see our brilliance and acknowledge it? Sometimes we may see it, but we have difficulty even acknowledging it.
I would say perhaps even our family dynamics. So if we don't fall into, I know culturally for me, if I didn't go to school, if I didn't do certain things and didn't achieve certain things, so it took away from my brilliance, because if I didn't achieve certain things that my parents may have wanted me to do, then it's hard for me to even see that within myself if the people that are supposed to pour into me couldn't even see it.
Yes. Yes. Very good. Anybody else?
Sometimes even our own self-talk and beliefs through the years, and what we kind of have, like someone was saying, through conditioning, what we have learned to think about ourselves sometimes.
Very good. Very, very good. All right, let's see here. Which one am I doing? This one. All right. So to finish off the ancestral talk, like this like hit me like hard. I was like, yes, like a significant part of ancestral power is our self-love. Someone could bless you with a word, but if you're not loving yourself, that word is not going to be fully fulfilled in the way that it should. Right? It requires self-love. It requires that. Self-love creates alignment, activates spiritual and ancestral power designed by God's intention, and it grants consent and command for God's word to manifest through you. Like, self-love is not just a psychological practice or self-help practice of, love yourself, and self-care. This is deeply spiritual to the core of our origin, right? And I say that, and some of you may have be familiar with me talking about the 7 acts of love, right? The 7 acts of love starts off with, before anything was created, God existed. And what is one thing that's happening in the Godhead? For sure, that you have no doubt, even if you weren't there, this had to be happening. What would that be?
You mean like God creating?
Before creating.
God, huh?
Anything would come as the second part. Was that?
Love.
I was saying God created the
love. They were loving themselves perfectly, full harmony. They had no need for anything outside of themselves because nothing existed outside of themselves at that time. So that's the first act of love. Then going to what you said, Joan, that they chose from the freedom of who they are, let's create and love without needing anything from us. Fully just offering their love. That's the second act of love. And they're saying to us, look, we're offering you this. You can receive it or not, because we created you in our image and likeness. You have a choice. We would like it if you receive it and choose to then offer it back. But we don't need it because we good. Right? So what do you do? So that's the second act of love, them offering it to us. What do you do when someone offers you a gift?
Say thank you.
Say thank you and then do what with it?
Accept it.
Accept it. Acceptance is an act of love. When you accept a gift, it is an act of gratitude and of love. And then once you accept it, what do you do with it? So we have 3 acts so far. We use it. How do we use it? You give it to somebody else? Is that what you do? Say that again?
Cherish it.
Cherish it. How you cherish it? What's the most important way you can cherish a gift?
Care for it.
Care for it. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it how?
Treasure it.
By using it. You don't just care for it and leave it on a shelf. You use it. You know how much it does for them to see you wearing their stuff that they gave you? Oh, she liked it. Okay, cool. Look how she wearing it. I don't know what she put that mixed together. Oh my gosh, yes. I did a good thing. Right? We like seeing people wearing or using what we have given them. It's an act of love. I cherish this by using it. I don't cherish it by burying it. Remember the talents? I cherish it by using it. And then the next act, we offer it to God. Why is that important? Why is it important to offer it ourselves first before we offer it to God? Because God is going to ask you, why are you offering this love to me? We're going to say, well, because you first loved me. And God is like, that's cool, but I didn't offer you my love because you first loved me. I offered you my love because I wanted to. out of the goodness of who I am, full of the love of who I am or who we are. We offer this to you. So that's operating in the image and likeness of who God is. We do the same. We're now full of this love that they had for themselves poured into us, and we had to choose to pour it back into ourselves. Now we are operating like God, ready to offer it out. But if we don't do this, we are going to offer God or others love, and we then expecting them attached to, you gotta love me back so I can be filled. No. There is a hole at the bottom of your soul that cannot be filled by anybody else's love, not even God's, but yours. This is you. This is the love from the outside. If they love you back without you loving yourself, what's happening? What's happening?
I think it
As the
falls
love,
on empty ground.
He losing it.
it doesn't stay.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good going down,
Mm-hmm.
and can even lead to an addiction of the feeling of love.
Mm.
And because we don't know how to love ourselves, we don't even know if this love is healthy love.
Mm.
We just are receiving something that feels like love. But when we choose to love ourselves and we're receiving love from the outside, we can process it better, digest it better, to the point where we're like, I don't need constant, I'm good. Thank you for this. And that love is processed. And we can, if a love comes in that is not healthy, we digest it and we're like, oh, that don't belong in here. Because of our love for ourselves, we know how to discern what's healthy love from what's unhealthy love. Right? So the fifth act is us giving it to them. The sixth act is us doing the same thing that, guess what they did over here? We are good. And we're offering this love to you. If you choose to want to give it back, cool. But we don't need it because we good. So this is you loving yourself. God loving themselves, loving you, you receiving it, pour it to yourself, giving it back to God is love self. And what the second commandment say? Love your neighbor as
yourself.
You love yourself. This is what the loving self looks like. Now you're ready to love neighbor. Because guess what you're going to say to neighbor? Look, I'm offering this to you. It's up to you what you're going to do with it. I would like it back, but if you don't choose to, I'm good. I don't need it. But if you're offering love and this is missing, you need them to love you back. And love you back in the way that you feel love should be received. Remember, if you have parents who haven't done this, they want you to love them back by doing what they want you to do. By pleasing them, by listening to them, by doing what they say, even if it goes against what's healthy for you. And then the final act of love seems like is a little different. But if you are in governance stage, you are going to want to check in every now and then. Is this love that I'm receiving actually from God? Is the love that I'm receiving, if the love that I'm giving myself, a healthy form of love? Is the love that I'm offering God healthy? Is the love that I'm getting from neighbor healthy? Is the love I'm offering neighbor healthy? We need a check and balance. So going back to this self-love, it is important that you understand the power of loving yourself it goes back to the ancestral beginning of time when God says, I am, and I am pouring myself into you. I have these 5 pillars of being at home with yourself or self-love practices: presence, truth, unconditional love, peace, and authority. I believe if we truly honor those within our lives, and we make sure that people honor them and don't disrespect that within us, we are showing how much we love ourselves and how much we love them by holding them accountable to how they show up for us. Any thoughts about that? That was a lot. Let me hear your thoughts.
No, I mean, it's good. And I I like how you have this right here. I like the title of this right here, message. I know I have a problem. Well, I have issues.
Go ahead. Speak your truth. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have issues. And well, me, giving and not, knowing me within myself, loving me first. I'm one, like you said, I'm the one to give. I'll do and I'll give and I wanna, but I don't look for them to give back. But then again, it's still just I have to learn to love myself first. Like you say, governing me and then knowing how to love the other person, give that love that's true, genuine love, I guess, right?
And especially as women, culturally and religiously, you've been taught to be givers, to be the helpmate, to offer, to serve, to give and to give and to give. You know, there's the strong Black woman syndrome. Gotta be strong for everybody. What about yourself? And the definition of being strong and even resilient, I think, is unhealthy. We need to shift that to include, I have limitations. And I'm realizing I'm nearing my limitations and I'm checking out, time out. Somebody better check in.
That's wear you down. I'm more down now, yeah.
And then we don't come back once we get a rest to just come back to the same thing. No, that experience, if it was not healthy for us, should be teaching us something. I can't come back to this system like that. Some things are going to have to change. Because what being strong means for me is being wise. And the pain that I've gone through in burning myself out, the wisdom of that says, nah, that's not healthy. So what am I going to do about it? The victim mindset says, I did all of this and you never appreciate, and you all this and you all that, and you never this, and never do anything for me. And that's the story ends there. The victor, the person who comes into their becoming self-trueness and operating from a place of self-love, recognize that something didn't feel good about that. And I do not want to return to that in the same way. We have to shift. And it's not going to be easy, especially if you may have participated in enabling people to see you a certain way and respond to you a certain way. They're going to know what's wrong with you. What the hell is going on with you? Like, how come you change? You used to be so giving and loving and kind. Now you just stuck up. Now you just this. Now that's there because you sent a ripple to them saying, we're not doing this. This can't be the status quo, the same as usual. That's a ripple you sent to them. That doesn't feel good to them. So they send back a ripple to you to make you uncomfortable with being true to you. So that you get uncomfortable, especially if you're not, if you're new at it, that ripple can make you want to go back. Because why is this so hard? There's a part of me that just wants to say, okay, like, I feel like I'm a bad person by telling them no. No, that resistance, that challenge that you're experiencing is a part of the resistance you need to build the muscle of the character of self-love, of being self-true. It needs you, your psyche, your mind, your body, your emotions, your heart needs you, needs to witness you being true to you, setting boundaries so that they can start picking up the message that overrides the old message that, wait a minute, you used to define love as giving. Now you say no, that something's not right. So your own system is going to want to go against you because it doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel comfortable. And you have to, being in tune with you and other sisters like you, be able to hear the message, keep it up, sister. You're doing the right thing. Don't give up. Yes, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right because the mindset that you're operating from was a wounded mindset, was a conditioned mindset, not a mindset that saw you. And if you want people to see you, you have to act differently so that they get the message. You send back that ripple. No, partner, we ain't doing that. Not today. But you used to, but you said you were going to do this for me. I realized you're right. When I said I was going to do that for you, I was in an unhealthy state. But now my eyes have been opened. I've been to the mountaintop. And I see that what I was doing was not only unhealthy for me, it was also unhealthy for you. Because it didn't challenge you to set the parameters that you need to take to take better care of yourself. All right? Let's see what Betsy says. What do you do when you are constantly dealing with people who are in the victim mentality and blame you? Charlie. Anybody have an answer for that? What do you do when you're constantly dealing with people around you who are in a victim mentality and then blame you for stuff that they should own?
I think for me, one of the things that, though it's difficult for me, I have to decide is whether it's my stuff or whether it's their stuff. And if it's their stuff, I have to learn to tell myself that and detach. If that makes sense, detach from it.
That's good. Love that.
That's so good.
Anybody else? Yeah. Yes. What else? That's good. I mean, that's maturity. Like, you don't quickly respond and either become defensive or accept what they're saying. You like, well, let me pull up. I hear what you're saying. Let me do some reflection.
I
What part
think
of this is
what you said earlier, Warren, about I think sometimes even we teach people that part, you know what I mean? That not that it's right, but that, you know, oh, if I throw a hissy fit or if I throw a tantrum or if I play the blame game, you'll give in type thing. So yeah, I think sometimes that comes into play as well.
Yes. And even in the role of parenting, if you're not used to setting limits and you realize your kids are acting out and you finally starting to set limits and they throw back a ripple because you're disturbing their norm. If you're not used to the challenge of child rearing and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, go ahead. Or you might even feel guilty that you said something that made your child cry. And if you have a belief system that says a loving parent should never make their child feel pain, that is not healthy. A loving person. Go ahead, Queen. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think I had one of these. Well, I'm pretty sure I had one of these moments because definitely in this season of just, you know, stepping my toe in the water of self-love beyond sometimes what we think of as women, like nails done, massages, and all the things. And so last week I was working from home and I was really comfortable in my bed. I had set up the little documentation thing and I was like, good. And I was like, I'm not moving here till I got to go pick up my son. And so my daughter called me and she was with her dad and she said, you know, something was going on with her body. And I'm like, well, you know, did I tell you, you know, did you do what I was telling you yesterday? And she said, no. And I was like, the first part of me was like, that's your baby, get up, go. Cause you know, I'm a mom's mom. And I stopped myself and I said, I'm not going, God. I was like, because, you know, I gave these specific instructions yesterday to avoid this thing that's going on today. And I was just giving myself the little tough love pitch and da 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 da, and everything in me was like, girl, if you don't get up and go take care of your baby. And what I said to God was, I'm not going. I said, but you know where I am in this process of learning to not jump at everybody's will. And I said, so I really need you to show up for my baby if this is the season you have me in. And I don't feel like I prayed a more sincere prayer because, you know, like I said, we're moms and we know how it is to like have your baby be in that space. But yeah, and something that how that situation would normally transpire. She called me later, like, Mom, I feel completely better. And I just know it was nobody but God, like just honoring where I was and knowing, like showing up for who I am. Yeah.
Love that. Oh, whew, yes. Anybody, what are your thoughts about what Lady Adrian said? Oh, how you felt about that? Oh my God, that hit
I
me. That was nice.
applaud you on that. I really do. It's not easy. It's not. And and it's not like yours, but I have a grandchild now. And my thing is my daughter, she's in this wait till you get his shots. Now, a mother, and you don't I don't raised her, but she's to get the shots or this or that. So I don't argue. They look for me to argue, well, you don't this, I'm mom. But instead of doing that, I say, okay, just let me know when you want me to see the baby. I don't force myself like I would, well, I'm the mom, I should see, I'm the grandma, I'm your mama, and I used to be like that, but I let it go. So hearing your story made me feel good because the other day it was like, well, the grandbaby clothes need to be dried and our dryer broke down. You don't let me see them. You don't call me. So my thing was, I'm not home. Now, granted, I was sitting in the bed, but I was like, I'm not home. I'm sorry. Well, we'll just go to the friend house. And I was like, okay. I felt bad, but I was using me for the grandchild now, and I was like, no. So you'll be even proud of me because I'm going to tell you that in therapy when I see you. I was like, nope. And I stayed there. So I haven't heard back from him, but I'm like, it hurts, but I'm trying to, I'm trying to accept it, So yeah.
Very good. That was powerful. Yes.
It hurts.
Yeah, and the hurting is similar to say like you have poison inside of you, right? And then you have to take this what do you call it, the remedy for a poison?
The antidote, the antibiotic.
The antidote, right? But the antidote is bitter like nobody's business. And you're like, no, I'm gonna stay sick. No, you want to drink that and let it do what it needs to do within you. Or you were in a car accident and you have glass all over you. Every time they pull out the glass, it hurts. You're gonna tell them stop? No, as you're gonna heal with that glass inside of you, and the infection that you're gonna get is gonna be worse than the pain that it is to pull out. So yes, it's going to require some challenge, some toughening to help you deal with the transformation from living one way of life into another. It's not usually a smooth, seamless transition, especially when our identity has been attached to one way of life. Doing the right thing, the new thing feels so wrong. Standing in the wrong place, in the old place. But if you learn to stand in the right place, doing the right thing starts to feel a lot better. Right? Anybody else with anything with any of these? All right, we'll come back to the home pillars a little bit. I'd given you I think in the last module, I don't know if any of you had a chance to look at it, but these are things I came up with that were like, where do our stories begin, or where do we get the stories or the conditioning of how we learn to adapt to a self that God didn't create? And so family pattern, these are some of the ones: family patterns, cultural messages, religious conditioning, educational systems, peer influence, media narratives, early trauma, working environment even, relationship patterns, financial beliefs, health experiences, geographic culture, and personal temperament. Any of you can identify where in one of these, a story you heard, a messaging you receive that made you feel this is who I'm supposed to be as a woman. But as you've grown older, you're realizing that's not healthy for me to keep holding on to that. What's a story you've held on to that made you, it may have felt good in the moment. Everybody else was doing it. But as you evolved, you're realizing I can't continue doing this. What was give us a story, give us an origin story or a belief that was a message that was taught to you that this is who you are as a woman?
My
Anybody?
mother.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of those very dominant type of woman. You know, when she separated from my father, she became gay. So she was more like, men don't supposed to do this, men not you supposed to do this and do that. So I grew up feeling I supposed to do everything and take over. And my first marriage didn't work because I felt that I was supposed to do stuff and he's like, who wear the pants? But my mother, because of her mind thinking, I felt I was supposed to wear the pants too, but it's not like that. So that was my belief. And I had to learn that that's not how it goes.
Thank you for me.
It hurt. There's a lot of hurt behind it. And it's early trauma as well because it traumatized me. And I'm trying a lot of things to get over with that right there as well. The beliefs, the way I was brought up, abuse. It's just things that you didn't know that it hurts you when you bury it, but it does come back to haunt you later.
Very
And
good. Thank you.
that's where I'm at now. I think I'm being haunted.
Thank you for your courage and sharing. Anybody else?
I think
What's an
for
origin?
me, I think for me, I'm learning that I don't have to be the end all be all. And I'm learning that I don't have to be superwoman, although I feel like I had somewhat of a superwoman in my grandmother who reared me. I'm learning that I don't have to be that for people at work. And the hardest thing is that I'm learning that I don't have to be that for my kids. And I have to kind of talk myself through not doing it. And I'm not the best at it, but I'm better at it. And to relinquish that, oh my God, it takes a weight off of you.
Oh, wow.
And it's okay not having to be those things because it doesn't make you less. It doesn't make you, it just makes you, I don't want to be superwoman in that moment. And it's okay.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much. One more?
I resonate with what she just said completely. Yes, 1000%.
Yeah.
But then I think for me, coming from a, Caribbean household, it's um and the things that I've seen growing up, um, although my parents have been married about 40 years, um, they make it very clear as to what their expectations are for me to have. And I finally got to the point that I said, you know what? I love you, but this is my life. And
Sure.
I don't have to live up to those expectations in order to have, just anything else. And then my children are now able to see that from me. They know that I love them for them. Even if they stumble and they fall, I'm right there, to the best of my capacity. And when I grew up with my mother being very clear, don't let your kids go anywhere. You keep them, you keep them. And I'm allowing my children to be children and having those experiences and not having all of that fear behind of what could happen. And it's actually grown us like I've gotten closer with my kids, but I would say culturally and in family patterns and all of those things, I decided that I was going to be the trailblazer and the change in my family line. So,
Yes. Sir.
and
Yes.
that's a weight, but then I think I'm more free as I'm learning how to drop those
Right.
expectations.
Very good. Oh, I love that. Love that.
I love
All right.
that. I did the same thing. I didn't want to raise my kids. Not that I didn't honor the way my parents raised me, but there were certain things that I wasn't going to do, especially with my daughter. And I see her blooming as a very confident young lady. And I think that I didn't get to be that, but I get to see that in her.
Wow. Ooh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So the goal here is we're moving from a hook mindset, hook consciousness, hook pattern into a more of a home consciousness or home mindset. So hook, again, is a word I came up with, created. There's a word called hook itself that kind of means fake. So I use the acronym, use the letters for an acronym, that's habitat of owning my Kayal existence. And Kayal is an Arabic or Salamic term that means illusion. So it's what I use as the base when we are not being true to who we are creating a habitat of owning a false self versus the home consciousness or mindset is a habitat of owning my magnificent existence. And it's magnificent because it's the DNA of the divine that was created to make us who we are. And when we live out of the hook mindset, we are so we succumb to false power patterns, unconscious conditioning, and external pressure. We constantly trying to please others, intellectual knowledge without embodied wisdom, and decisions that are driven by fear or performance or image management. And with the home, we go back to the 5 pillars, that maintaining those, it's critical. Home is you live by these principles that honor who you are, and they help. Within them is the wisdom that guides you in making decisions. So presence is a sacred essence, your spirit self, but it's also being mentally present where you are with what's happening within you and around you. Truth is the alignment between your inner knowing and the outer expression, that you expressing, whether it be verbally or how you behave, how you show up, that's in alignment with the person of who you are. The unconditional love is what you apply to yourself, the self-compassion, the grace you apply to yourself, all of you, not just your good self, but especially when you've messed up, when you've made a mistake. There's a part of us that wants that love from a parent, from a guardian. And because we may not have gotten it in the way that we should, we are psychologically and maybe psycho-spiritually stuck until that part of us receives that love. And it's no longer the parent on the outside that's needed. It's the parent, the guardian on the inside, which is us. We are the one that our wounded self has been waiting on. We, even when we don't fully believe in us yet, but we recognize that we are the one that's responsible. And the more we are there with that part of us that feels unworthy, the more that part of us feels important. Somebody's paying attention to me in this space of emptiness, in this space of unworthiness, in this space of wondering if something's wrong with me, or being in spaces that I don't know if I belong, that imposter syndrome, when we can have that little encouragement, like, don't, you belong here. Hang in there. Don't give in to what people are thinking. Don't watch their faces. Focus on what's internal. That brings that peace in, that internal harmony, regardless of the circumstances of what's happening around you, and sometimes even within you, with your thoughts. I use this piece as the eye of the storm. No matter how terrible the hurricane is, it cannot touch the eye. I don't know if any of you have been through a hurricane. I've gone through a couple of them. And that eye is so still and peaceful while the edges around it is destroying the place. You do not want to leave the eye to go into the storm to try and manage the storm. That's the storm's territory. The storm will only respect you when you're operating from your peace. It won't touch you. Right? This brings you to the authority of who you are, this divine governance of your life that is your right and your responsibility that has been poured into you to manage everything else. It's in you. Even if you have not, it has not been activated or nurtured, you haven't seen any models of it, it is by your design in you. Your beginning processes of believing in yourself is what begins to activate it. Your mind, our minds, need to experience us operating in our authority before it can respect us. Our pain, our emotions need to see us consistently, not perfectly, consistently operating in our authority for them to respect us. Our subconscious mind has a power within it to attract into our space whatever we repeat. We repeat in thoughts, repeat in speech, repeat in behavior. Because it's saying you are consciously choosing to do these things over and over and over again. That means you want me to take it on because it's a reflection of who you see yourself. So I will help you. You don't even have to give me permission. You already did by how consistently you have been repeating this. I will now take over and attract people into your space and certain things into your space so that you can continue living like this. And that's positive or negative. Y'all feel me? All right. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Everything going okay? Am I moving too fast? Is this making sense? All right.
I'm good.
It's good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we're gonna break them down a little bit. The foundation is the sacred essence, mental presence. All right, your brilliant wonder, the divine DNA in you, mental and being fully available to your current experiences. Sometimes it's painful. So there are times when we can't be fully present all the time. The pain might be too much and overwhelming. We can intentionally say, I'm taking a break. But the responsibility of caring for ourselves, say, I must come back to this. Because if you don't, you've just sent, if you don't, you send a signal to your psyche saying you are afraid of this and you're giving into fear. That means you are not the authority. Fear is, ego is, trauma is, the conditioning is. And so your mind then aligns with whatever energy that's sitting in the seat of authority. Does that make sense? Right? So yes, you don't have to be always present. Sometimes we're human beings. We're going to mess up. But we were designed where we can take a licking and keep on ticking, even still while being holy. Our holiness is not conducive to perfection. It is not related to that. Our imperfection is not a reflection of our worth and worthiness. All right? How we handle our imperfections, how we handle our mistakes could be a reflection of our worth if we handle it in a way that's within the integrity of who we are. So we're not afraid of things happening because of the authority of who we are. We recognize that and we realize even if someone did something to hurt us, we are saying, I am responsible for how I choose to handle that moving forward. All right. So let's just do this quickly. What time is it? Yeah, let's just do this quickly. I want you all to just sit comfortably wherever you are. And just take 3 deep breaths and put your let me see it, your whichever hand you can fit by your heart, your left hand here and your right hand on your stomach. And just sit as best you can, if you can, with your back straight, and take a deep breath in. And then slowly release. I want you, as you're doing that, to keep in mind there's a presence within you that is holy. But yet there's also a presence within you that is hurting. whose needs have not been met by people that says they love her. They've not paid attention to her. No matter how much we try to please and do, no matter what we've done and how much we have spoken and said what we want, we still let down. We are now saying, no more. I am looking to me, to myself, to be the guardian of my soul. So with this next breath, I want you to experience that you are calling the attention of your wounded self to be open because you're about to visit. You take a deep breath in, hold it, 3, 2, 1, slowly release. Feel that you are in the presence of that woundedness that has been so afraid to come out in her vulnerability, that she allows her ego to take over. She allows her defensiveness, her walls to be her guardian. But you're saying no more. There's no way I was made in the image and likeness of the God. And I'm going to let something that is lower than me to be the guardian of my soul. No more. And feel, let that inner being, as you take this last breath, let that wounded self feel the compassion and the conviction that you have that we are under new management. Deep breath in. Hold that. Be present with. 2, 1, release. Just be present in that space. Let your unresolved stuff, the wounded part of you, let it recognize you are not running anymore. Not from your stuff. You are the authority of your home. You are the Eve of your Eden. And you ain't listening to no trickery. And you ain't waiting for no man or woman to speak to you, to stop you from doing what is not healthy for you. You are going to be in tune with the spirit that is in you and mother that part of you in the way that she deserves to be mothered. We give thanks. Ashe. Ashe. All right. Truth. The focus is that inner alignment, an inner knowing, and the alignment with how you choose to show up. How you choose to show up may not look the same all the time. People may be expecting you to show up at 100 all the time. But there are going to be days where you're not going to feel like it. The inner alignment, you are going to recognize, I'm not feeling like 100. I can only give 46.5. So you're going to let yourself know, I give myself permission to show up with the best 46.5 that I can in this moment. And even though other people are expecting more from me, I am going to stand my ground. That's a way of me loving myself. That's a way of me not only setting boundaries, but enforcing it. I don't show up how you think I should show up. I show up based on what my needs are, where I am, what my limitations are, what my strengths are, and what I feel, how I feel convicted to show up. If you love me, even if showing up like that causes you some discomfort, you will at least try to understand what's going on. and not be pissed at me and have an attitude and personalizing how I'm showing up as if I am designed to serve you, whoever the you is. And the you could be your old self. Sometimes that's a challenge, is that old self that tells us, but that's not you, right? What people gonna think? You should do this because that's what you do. You're good at it. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you should do it. Just because you have the resources doesn't mean you have to offer it. You are under a management of an internal, eternal guiding system that you are aligning yourself with. And you're saying no more to conditioning of culture and religion or family, society that does not align with the truth of who I am. The unconditional love is the compassionate acceptance of all aspects of you. All aspects of you. Just as for an example, just if you can, wherever you are, there's a part of your body that you don't like. It's too small, it's too big, it's too whatever. Touch that body. Touch that. I'm putting mine on my stomach because I need to I'm gonna tone that thing up. I missed my six-pack. It's been 40 some years that I had a six-pack. But that body has been with you every single day of your living life. That body has been calling out for your attention and your acceptance. That body is looking for a moment when you can look at it without covering and smile, without trying to hold anything in, and just say, I see you. And thank you for helping me to show up. Thank you. Just every now and then, just with a dose of compassionate love. It is not your fault that you got to be this way. I am responsible for a good deal of this. Some of it might be genetic. It's not our fault. But this is where we are. And I accept this. Oh, the feel. When you really do this, that something in you begins to shift. It's gonna feel uncomfortable at first. But once you recognize I can apply unconditional love to myself, to my body, to my soul, my spirit, I have less need for the love on the outside. So speak to yourself with kindness. Forgive yourself for past mistakes. And celebrate your wins. Celebrate them. They might be small in another person's eyes, but you know your journey more than anybody else's. How far you've come. Even if it's you felt like going off on somebody, but you held yourself, checked your tongue. Like, whoo, oh my goodness. Go outside and shake that off. Oh my, let me give myself a walk. Because, whoo, I can't believe I didn't curse her out. That your psyche needs to hear, oh, that means a lot to you. Let's see. Right? It could be your own kids. Oh my goodness, sometimes they can get on our nerves. It could be your partner. Right? It could be the person who cut you off in traffic. You're like, not today. I'm gonna love me some me. And I'm not stirring up any negative energy that's gonna stay with me until I get to my no, I'm not doing that. That's an act of self-love. Peace, the eye of the storm. Peace is not the absence of challenge, right? Some people say, I just want peace, meaning everything is fine. That peace is relative. The peace you want is that internal harmony, regardless of what's going on the outside. Why? Because I do not control what's happening on the outside. But what I can control and where my responsibility lies is within what's happening within me. So I have this thing I call the fives. Some of you might be familiar with it. We'll jump to that. 5 principles of maintaining your peace. Stop trying to control what you don't have control over or not responsible for, like people especially, time, and many life circumstances. Focus your attention on what you actually can control internally, your thoughts. It includes your beliefs, assumptions that creates your narratives or your stories, or your what I call your passions, your moods, desires, emotions, attitudes, your ego, your will, which includes your free will and your willpower, and your behavior. Nobody else is responsible for these except you. And guess what? In another person, who's responsible for those? Who? They are. So even if you did or said something to upset somebody,
They are.
yes, you're not responsible for helping them manage that. That's on them, just like it's on you if they piss you off. So own your stuff, not another person's. You can apologize if you were the one that, and you believe that you were wrong. But if you don't believe you were wrong, don't be apologizing for stuff that you didn't do. Don't do that. Once you've managed and learned, you start to manage what's inside of you, and when you understand that this is, now you can focus on the stuff you don't have control over. And the people that may be still participating in causing you a discomfort, right? But you do so by trying to influence them, not control them. And you try to influence them without violating their autonomy. And you try to influence them without trying to use manipulation. Because manipulation is not influence, it's a form of control. Go ahead, Keontae, I see you. Process that. So let me know if you come up with anything. Thoughts, questions? You good? All right. All right. Manipulation to me is a form of control. You're not giving the person the right to choose how they want to respond with the facts. You don't try and bribe. Now, once you've done what you can do, the challenge for many of us is because we've put so much energy into influencing, we may have become vulnerable in wanting to let this person know, like, hey, I've been through this too. And we then have an attachment that expects them to then, because I invested my vulnerability, I should have a return on my investment. That's a setup. Don't do it. Once you've done what you can, respect that people in life have a right to show up however they want to. But it's not over. After they've done what they've done, you also now have a right to choose how you're going to respond based on how they responded. And your response should be primarily focused on honoring you. So if they're responding in a way that says they don't respect you, you respond in a way to let them know, I don't respect the fact that you don't respect me. And I'm gonna let you know, I'm not looking for you anymore to respect me. If that's your decision, I'm going to respect me. And you have now shifted from being in this part of my house to now being on the patio. You can't come in and hang with me. I'm gonna bring out some lemonade and cookies if you still are worthy of that. But you cannot have access to my inner spaces, because you are consistently showing me you don't respect it. Right? And then finally, we go into the authority, reclaiming your seat of divine governance. All right? Authority equals your divine right to govern your life from truth, from love, using wisdom. Where some of you can tell me, where have you given your authority away? In what ways you may have given your authority away? maybe subtle, or it may be outright. I surrendered.
Over
Go ahead.
explaining with people pleasing.
Ooh, yes, I like that. Good. How else? We may have given our authority away. Over explaining. Giving in to demands, even from your kids. If you know that this wasn't what you wanted to do, but they like lobbyists, but use the and you can, but and you said but ma, yeah, you said that you want to cut, but mom, it's just one time. Well, it was one time the last time, but ma, it's your boy, but if you give in to that, you are teaching them to not respect your boundaries. Don't make commitments that you're not ready yet to follow through on. Next time you do this is what's going to happen. Next time it happens, you don't follow through. Don't do that. All right? Check yourself. You might be upset when what they did, and this could be a partner as well, or a friend or coworker. Don't make decisions in that upset state. Calm yourself down first, reflect on what happened, and then check yourself and ask, what's the best move as far as this relationship? Has this been a pattern? Because you may have been hungry when the person said or did what they did, and you reacted, and you, in the moment, you don't know. You're overreacting because you're hungry or you're tired. I went to my dance group. We had a dance at a party for an elder in our community, his 75th birthday, and we're supposed to start at 4 and dance at 4:30. It's 5:30. He's not here. It's a surprise, and I'm hungry. And we're in a small room because he doesn't know we're coming to dance. He's the one who started the dance group back home, and I realized my dance group, they're getting on my nerves. I know what's going on. So I decided to exit. I went in my car. Like, let me get out of here. So, because you guys get on my nerves, and I don't want to do something that's going to get on your nerves, or say something that's get on your nerves. So I went in the car and lay down. And when it was time, they called me because they know I get hangry. See this calm, cool, and collective. Don't let me eat way past the time when I'm supposed to eat. So I know me. So if you know you, when you're tired, when you're hungry, you are not your best self. When you get irritated, be mindful of applying sentencing to a violation that has been done, because you might overdo it. Okay? Changing opinions based on other people's reaction, apologizing for taking up space, letting others define your worth, all these things. All right? How you can reclaim your authority. What does my truth tell me? Not what will they think. All right, one person, let me see, do I have it here? I'm not sure if I have it here. Let me check. A client had asked me, this will be the last line. A client had asked me yesterday, she's longing to be in a relationship. She's had 2 failed marriages, and she's in a situationship with a friend, a longtime friend. And she's realizing she's starting to fall for him. He is 2.5 years divorced. And she's asking, like, I don't know if I should say something to him, because I don't feel like, sometimes I feel the friendship, sometimes he's just being a man. Like, it's just sex. What should I do? Because should I say something? Should I just end it? I'm like, why? Well, let's take a look at this. Why don't you want to say something? Because I'm afraid of what he might say, and then I have to make a decision. Okay? And why do you want to stay in this relationship? Because it fills up the loneliness. Okay? in being true to who you are, right? Take a step back and look at the facts. If he truly cares about you, would he mind hearing the truth from you? Like, yeah. Then what is the reason why you haven't shared that with him? Because sometimes he acts a certain way that makes me feel like he's going to have a reaction. And then does that mean he cares about you? And it's a hard decision. She slowly said, no, not in the way I want. Then it's up to you. You can continue. But if you're serious about being true to who you are, you have to set some boundaries. Because from a dude's perspective, if I'm doing what I'm doing and I am not receiving any resistance, I hear that you want this. I'm not thinking too far. I'm not trying to think, well, what does she think? I ain't doing that. If I like what's happening, I want to think in no way that's going to disturb this piece. I love this flow. So if I'm offending you, you are the one who must let me know I have violated, crossed the line. Because what he's probably going to say, you never told me. So it's not my fault. That's not a good friend. All right. Deep breath in, ladies. Release. Tell me some things that stuck out. Oh, let me see. I see there's a comment. Who's that? My daughter walked. Oh, in the room. Okay. No, I needed privacy. Okay. I didn't even see that. Are you good now?
It was when you started to say that when the kids get on your nerves, she happened to
Oh.
walk in.
Oh Lord. Hopefully she didn't hear. Well, whatever she did, she knows.
She's fine.
Yeah. So tell me some things that may have stood out for you with regards to this phase in general, any of the stuff you read or stuff we talked about before, or anything that stood out for you today. Each person is going to give me something.
Well, I'm gonna say with me, it's my kids. They're trying to keep me where I used to be. And the growth from where I was and where I am today, they don't want to accept it. So what I'm learning to do is I stand my ground, but I let them just go among themselves and do the thinking and speaking. And I just let them realize that I'm not who I used to be, but I don't argue like I used to. I used to try to, put my foot down on, no, I'm not like that. But we were going back and forth. So what I did is I just stopped, because you can't change doing the same thing. You have to change to make it different. So they'd be like, well, Mom, this and that. Oh, I thought. I said, well, that's what you thought, but I'm not like that anymore. So I laugh when they're thinking I'm going to say something, or they go and say what I used to say and I don't. So that part makes me feel good. And what you just said is, yeah, that's where I was weak in that area, because I don't want my kids not to love me, but tough love, it's not easy, but I'm learning.
Very good. Thank you, John.
I think for me, the way you explain the kind of do the deeper dive on the ancestral piece. It's just a funny moment. I remember I used to think, can white people have ancestors? Like, do they have? Because you always thought about it in the context of like Africans and Blackness.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just the way you do a deeper dive on that.
Thank you. Good. Next. Oh, Keontae.
I'm sorry, I kind of have itis.
You should have shared some of that food with us.
That was so good. No, a lot of this resonated for me. You had a couple of one-liners in there. One that's sort of top of mind is being the Eve of your Eden. I like that because she had agency.
Right.
She had choice. So I appreciated that.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Next.
I remember years ago in my 20s, someone told me that I would give them the respect, well, not just them, but I would give you the respect of listening to you, but I always do what I want to do. And I think now it turns into I don't use force to get to I don't use force when I'm advocating for myself. I just do. I don't fight about it. I just do it.
Yeah, it's the thing about operating in your authority when you grounded in it. You don't need so much of the hype. You just need to speak it clearly and be willing and ready to follow through with the consequence.
Yeah.
It's not just about making your boundaries clear. You have to be ready to follow up with the consequence. Very good. Thank you. Jennifer, Carol, Betsy.
I'll go. I learned the biggest part was not to fall victim to victim mentality. So I would, when someone is playing victim, and then I would question myself, like, did I really do this? Did I really do that? When really it's, even though I may have had some type of role in it when I do reflect and all of that, but the majority of the things does come from that person, and to not think that I am responsible for the work that they have to do.
Right.
So that was big
That's
for
right.
me.
Own what is yours. Right. And some people who are operating a victimized mindset, they don't know it. They don't see it. They feel so justified that they were wrong and you owe them.
Yeah.
And they if you owning a victimized mindset, your behavior isn't going to change because you haven't identified you as being a part of the problem.
Mm,
It's going to be better when you stop doing this or when you start doing that.
yeah.
All right. So good question earlier.
Thank you.
Two more ladies.
I think I have two things that kind of resonated with me. One was making shifts when things don't feel right, and I'm thinking about two particular situations. I'm kind of at a crossroad in my life in terms of which way to go relative to career. And the second thing that stuck out that was almost a confirmation was that you don't have to do something or continue to do something just because you're great at it. Or you don't have to do it in that space.
Right. Because that can be a trapping too, you know. You've invested so much time and energy in doing this. You build a reputation or an image, and you feel like well, you know, I should just keep doing it. No, you don't. If it doesn't resonate with you anymore, something inside of you starts to slowly die if it realizes that you're not listening to its messages that, hey, it's time. Queen Jennifer.
Feeling that everything was interesting, and I learned a lot, particularly about what I should, what you guys were, you know, the questions and the answers that everybody gave. I could relate to all of them. So it was interesting. I wish I could talk more, but I'm not feeling very well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. I will go ahead and send out the module 3 tomorrow and start looking through that. It'll prepare you for the personal governance phase. And I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully it helps you to better understand the authority you have within you and responsibility and how to walk through to being the beautiful, brilliant wonder of who you are. So to each of you, may the Lord continue to guide you and be with you. May whatever negativity that may be around you or even within you, come to recognize the light of who you are, that you use the darkness for your good, that you learn to befriend whatever is not going well, because you know you do not stand alone. The divine did not create you to stand alone. He created you so you can stand and they stand with you. You are not alone. Receive the brilliance of your life that wants to be revealed. You are worthy of attention. You are worthy of love. You are worthy to have a voice, to exercise it and be heard. You are worthy to even make mistakes. Your imperfection is not a reflection of your worth. We give thanks to God for who He is, for all that feminine energy that is also in God. For there is no greater feminine than the God that we serve. And we give thanks that you have a place in the Godhead. In Jesus' name, amen and ashe.
Amen.
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 Have a good one, ladies.
Night,
Thank you
everyone.
for lovely.
Have a
Thank you.
great
Good
week,
night.
everyone.
See y'all
Good night.
later. Have a
Good
blessed
night,
week.
everyone. Nice meeting everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.